Hi everybody, welcome to the newest episode of Walking Buddy. I believe this is Walking Buddy number 10. If I'm wrong about that, then I'll change it later on in the description of the show. Anyway, it's been over a week since I've done the show. Been a little bit busy. When I started out, I wasn't sure how often I wanted to do these. I was thinking before maybe 2 times a week. It's looking like it's going to be once a week now. You know, we all get busy with things, and you never know what the weather's going to do. I think the last time I had planned to do one of these, it ended up raining, and don't want to really walk on my treadmill and shoot one of these shows. That would be a little loud for everybody. Also, as some of you know, because you're also walkcasters, there's quite a few walking shows out right now. There's, well, that's the thing, there's so many of them. And it's kind of hard to keep up with them sometimes, isn't it? I know that there's more that I'd like to watch from some of you that I haven't been able to watch lately. I hope to catch on them soon. Anyway, I want to talk about a couple different things today. It was all over the internet today that they're going to be doing a reboot of the Indiana Jones franchise. And the big thing that was on the internet today was that Robert Pattinson from the Twilight movies is rumored to be in the running for Indiana Jones. Now, as you can expect, not a lot of people seem to be too happy about this online. I suppose those Twilight fans are, and you know, whatever else Bobby Pattinson's been in. I like to call him Bobby. He looks like kind of like a Bobby. Anyway, I'll be honest with you, I've never seen the Twilight movies. I think I saw like 10 minutes of one of them. I was channel surfing and it was on, and I put it on, and all these like boys are running around in the woods with no shirts on, and I understand they were the wolfmen or werewolves or team wolf or whatever they were. But yeah, I don't get all the reboots that are either out there or being talked about. It also was mentioned not too long ago that they're going to try to reboot the Ghostbusters franchise. Now, they've been talking about doing a Ghostbusters 3 for many years. And the holdup there was always Bill Murray. Bill Murray didn't seem to want to do it. Oh good, an ice cream truck is coming down the road. You can hear ice cream music playing. Should I stop and get maybe a popsicle? I don't think so. Kind of defeat the whole purpose of, you know, walking and everything, and I don't want to get any sticky stuff on my selfie stick. Be a sticky selfie stick. Anyway, Robert Pattinson is Indiana Jones. I don't think it's going to happen. Who knows, though? Is he too young? I mean, what is he, like, somewhere in his 20s? I think Indiana Jones needs to be a little bit older. Other people are talking about Bradley Cooper as Indiana Jones. Now, I can kind of see that. Bradley Cooper would be a good choice. You know, not a bad-looking guy. He's proven that he's good at some action and some comedy. And I'm going to wait now because the vehicle's walking by. It's not walking by, it's driving by. And then I'll head up that street there. Alright. That was a vehicle that said Captain Meats. Now there's a topic for discussion. I, like probably you, have had people occasionally come to my home in a van trying to sell me meat. Sounds a little dirty, doesn't it? Well, there's a whole other story with a similar theme there, but I'm not going to go into that. But I don't want to buy meat off the back of a van. I don't, and especially from someone named Captain Meat. I mean, why doesn't he call himself Major Meat? Oh, Major Meat, that would be a better name. If I was selling meat out of a van, I would call it Major Meat. Anyway. Okay, I was talking about the Ghostbusters 3 franchise. Let me go back to that. I'll just zigzag all over the place, okay? Ghostbusters 3, bad idea. Because what they're talking about is having the old Ghostbusters, and it would most likely just be Dan Aykroyd and, God, who is it now? The black guy. Ernie Hudson? Is that his name? Sorry, black guy from Ghostbusters. I forget your name, but I think it's Ernie Hudson. Because Harold Ramis unfortunately passed away. Rest in peace, Harold. Very, very talented actor, writer, and director there. But Bill Murray probably won't do it. And the plan, apparently, is for the old Ghostbusters to be training a new young group of Ghostbusters. Just not a good idea. Not a good idea. So, what else do we want to talk about today? Let's talk about music. Now, one thing I want to talk about, I'm not going to talk about any particular music act, but I want to tell you something I have in mind for my blog, which can be found at buddygot.com online. I'm going to be doing some more things with that. I just, the other day, posted a short story on there. Somebody call it flash fiction. I'm not really sure. Flash fiction's been kind of a rage for those of you who don't know. There's like Flash Fiction Fridays online. It's a hashtag you'll see a lot on Twitter, things like that. But I posted a story called Luigi's Lemon Suey. I just almost said Luigi's Lemon Semen. But that's not the name of the story. It's Luigi's Lemon Suey. And I put that on there, and that thankfully has gotten an awful lot of views over the past few days. A lot of hits, they call them. And I had done recently before that, I did a posting about a wonderful, wonderful day that I had with Lisa. And that really got a lot of views. That was very nice, and I got a lot of good feedback on that. But I want to be updating the thing a little bit more. What I want to do is, I heard about this thing called Music Mondays, where basically people are posting stories, or not even so much stories, but articles about different music-related things. So I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that out for next Monday. Maybe each Monday I'll do a posting about either a favorite band, or a favorite album, or a particular favorite song of mine. And it might be fun to occasionally do some things that I don't like. Now, I'm not one to really slam people. I'm not going to be going on there and slamming anybody. That's not really my thing. But I have a big, big, big music collection. I remember about 5 years ago I counted my CDs, and I had about 1,500 CDs then. And I stopped counting then. I don't buy as much as I used to, but I think that could be fun. I think I'll talk about some classic things. So I'm going to do that on buddygot.com. And I think also I'm going to have a regular feature on there where I talk about either a classic movie or a classic TV show that I'm a big fan of. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a bit of a pop culture junkie. If you ever watch Sunday Night Fiction Club, my show, which can be found on another channel here on YouTube, you see that I have a fairly good knowledge of old movies and TV shows. I don't watch as much television now as I used to, but I think that could be fun too. One show that I don't know if, probably my younger viewers are familiar with this, but it's a show on Netflix that Lisa, my girlfriend, and I are going to be watching together. We had a really good time recently going through the entire Doctor Who series from the revival, starting in 2005, and we had fun watching that together. So we're going to pick another show to get into. She mentioned the other night that when she was a kid, she was into Twin Peaks. Now, I loved Twin Peaks, and Lisa and I both really haven't seen it since it originally aired. Over years ago, I bought like the whole video collection of the show. Watched it a little bit here and there, but even so, that's probably been at least like 15 years since I've watched it. So we're going to be into that. Be looking for something good to watch on Netflix or on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's on Amazon Prime, but it's definitely on Netflix. Check out Twin Peaks. Awesome, awesome show. Also, there was some great music in that. If you're on Spotify, the Twin Peaks soundtrack's on there. So listening to that the other night, kind of definitely a quirky show, and even the music's kind of quirky, but it's good. It's really, really good. So, I'll tell you, a little warm outside today. I'm already getting a little tired of walking. Haven't been walking too much lately. Plus, I just had a big dinner. And it's so easy to just lay down and take a nap after dinner, isn't it? It's close to doing that tonight, but I figured, you know what? Not raining out. Time to do a walkcast. Let's see now, what else can we talk about? Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? Do you? I wanted to talk about stress. I think I talked about that some in one other show, very briefly. I think I might have just said that I was stressed that day. And today I'm really stressed too. And stress is, stress can just be a hard thing to shake. Now, all kinds of sayings out there about, not letting certain things into your life and eliminating the things that do cause you stress or cause you hard times. And, you know, it's wonderful advice, but a lot of times you can't totally get those things out of your life. You know, sometimes you might even have someone you really care about a lot who has things that, you know, are going on, and you know, you care about them, you want to help them. And even though you're trying to help them, it can still be very stressful. So, you know, I'm struggling with that myself right now. Sometimes things stress you out that you really only have so much control over. Just got to do what you can and hope for the best. And I think doing something like this, though, like I'm just taking a little walk here, a mile walk. I do these for, you know, roughly between 15 and 20 minutes. Probably a little closer to 20 minutes because I'm walking a little slow because I got a full belly from chicken. Really, really good chicken. But you know what's really bad too is anxiety. You can get yourself so worked up about some things where you kind of are almost having a panic attack. And thankfully, I've only had that a couple times. I guess we've all had it from time to time. But you know, you get yourself so dragged down when that happens, and it's hard to get out of. You know, you get yourself so fixated on one thing that it can be really hard to shake it. So, I'm no doctor. I have no big advice, but the advice I will give you, because I have had some experience with that, is as much as it might be a hard thing to do, try to focus on something positive. Even something, you know, really, really small, like going for a little walk, or just doing something nice for yourself. Even if you're stressed out about something, like kind of force yourself to sit down, take some breaths, try to relax. Meditation's a wonderful thing. That's something that I'm trying to get a little bit more into. A lot of people think it's just like this hippie-ish thing, and I guess for some people it can be. But just taking a few minutes to sit and relax in peace and quiet if you can, it's a good thing. It's one thing I want to look into more is meditation. And there's really not much you have to look into it for, I suppose. I know there's different ways to do it. Some people have like, I think they're even called like meditation pillows. You sit on these certain pillows, things like that. But I can't see myself doing that. Yoga would be a pretty cool thing too. I think I want to try that sometime. You know, it's a good way to get yourself physically in shape, and I think it also helps with your mind and with your emotions. So, pretty quiet night here in Newcastle, Delaware. Haven't seen Captain Meat drive by on this street, so I guess he's moved on. Someone's calling for either Michael Anthony or Michael and Anthony. Not sure. I really doubt it's the bass player Michael Anthony, though, from Van Halen. However, if it is, I'm kind of excited that he lives in my development. I want to go talk with him about the Van Halen stuff. How awesome would that be? Be neighbors with Michael Anthony, or any of the Van Halen guys, even Gary Sharon. So, what else do we want to talk about? Blockbuster movies. Hey, let's talk about those summer blockbuster movies. Any of them that you're excited to see? For me, not so much. I just don't go to the movies the way I used to. I did, however, see Captain America, The Winter Soldier, last week. I had mentioned that on my Facebook page. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook, please do. That was a really great movie. I went to the theaters to see it, obviously, because it's still in the theaters. I have friends that have watched bootleg copies online, which I'm not, I don't do that for anybody who's watching and trying to like nail me for something. But if you do it, then, you know, hey, to each their own. But that was a really good movie. If you have it, if you like the first Captain America movie, or if you just like good action movies, you might want to check that one out. I used to love Captain America as a kid. Even I collected comic books well into my late 20s, early 30s, and I was pretty into Captain America. Always hoped for a really good version of Captain America to come out. When I was a kid, there was a TV show of Captain America. I guess this was, well, I was really little. I think it was probably sometime in the late 70s, early 80s. But it really, it was okay. But for that time period, I think television in particular had a very hard time making those kinds of comic book characters and stories into really good movies. I believe I talked about that before with Spider-Man. There used to be a Spider-Man series in the 70s, and they only had so much of a budget to work with, and now, you know, with the special effects that are out there, CGI, and just the money they can put out for those kinds of things, they're finally being done right. Now, there was a Captain America movie in the 80s that was really not so good. I don't know if that ever pops up on cable now or anything like that, but it starred an actor named Matt Salinger, who was fine enough in the role. A little trivia for you: Matt Salinger is the writer, legendary writer J.D. Salinger's son. And they had a Red Skull character in there. I can't remember who played him. It might have been Frank Langella, who's a really good actor. But not such a great movie. But the Captain America movie that came out, 4 or 5 years ago, it was good. I can't say I loved it, but I liked it quite a bit. I only saw it maybe twice. But this one, though, was great. It was a really good story. And I heard that they had, the producers, the writers, the director, they wanted to do something that had sort of like a 70s, like espionage kind of vibe. They mentioned 3 Days of the Condor, a Robert Redford movie that was really popular in the 70s, as something that they kind of wanted to go for that kind of vibe. Not so much that a superhero story, but something that was really good, like intrigue. And that's one of the reasons that they actually tried to and actually succeeded in casting Robert Redford as a character in this movie. And he was, if you didn't know, he was in 3 Days of the Condor. And I read this funny story, well, it's not so funny, but he told the writers, or whoever in the production staff, he saw the script and he goes, you know, this reminds me of a film I did way back when called 3 Days of the Condor. And they apparently were like jumping up and down with joy for that. It's like, oh yeah, that's exactly the kind of vibe we were going for. So he did it, and really good role for Robert Redford there. Not something that you would typically see him do. I heard that one of the reasons he wanted to do it was because he wanted to be involved in a modern film, the way that they make movies now, you know, with all the special effects, those kinds of things. And apparently he really enjoyed doing it a lot. Good role for Robert Redford there. Good role for Chris Evans. Chris Evans is good as Steve Rogers / Captain America. I can't remember the name of the actor who played the Winter Soldier, but he was very good in that too. I want to say Stan Roper, maybe? No, that can't be it. But he was really good, and I think they're even toying with maybe bringing his character back again in another movie, which would be great. I really like his character, Bucky Barnes. Yeah, that's his name, Bucky Barnes. Thought I went to high school for a second with a guy named Bucky Barnes, and that kind of confused me. Anyway, I've got one more street to do here. You know, it seemed like there were other things I wanted to talk about this episode, but I haven't. But anyway, walking around, haven't seen Major Meat anywhere. Probably a good thing. It's not selling anything to me. Oh, I wanted to talk about Twitter. How many of you use Twitter? Twitter can be a fun thing. It can be a little addicting. Hi, how you doing? Good. But I've been getting back into Twitter lately. Hadn't used it so much for a while. But it's kind of cool, especially if you get into using those hashtag things. Like naturally with me being into writing, I follow different writing related things on there. You can do writing, writer writing, all kinds of stuff. Find all kinds of neat topics. If you haven't used Twitter before and you've been reluctant to do it, it's kind of fun. You can just go on, follow different celebrities. I enjoy following some of my favorites from even in the past, like Steve Martin is on there, and he'll post some really funny things. So if you're not into Twitter, check out Twitter. I need to check out different kinds of things online. People talk about Tumblr all the time and Pinterest. And if you're on Pinterest and you've recently followed me, because a lot of people have, I don't have anything there. I think and I apologize for that if you went and followed me and you saw that I didn't have anything, but it was one of those deals where Pinterest is hooked up through Facebook. One of my friends posted something on there, so I signed up for an account. But maybe I should check that out too, because I know Lisa, my lovely, wonderful girlfriend Lisa Stahl, she's into Pinterest, into Tumblr, And you can really make a lot of good contacts there. She shared my short story there, and my gosh, that really helped out with the hits. So, we got summer here, don't we? It is now June. Summer's just a couple weeks away. At the beginning of summer, exactly on the start of summer, I'm going to be heading down to Williamsburg for a week. Williamsburg, Virginia. I've only been there once so far, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's always good to get away. You need to take your breaks sometimes. You know, we're talking about stress, anxieties, and all that. Vacations, not always easy to find the time to do them, but sometimes it's really just good to get away. And it doesn't even have to be a trip to get away to calm your stress and anxieties. Sometimes it's good to just take a little alone time. Even what I'm doing right now. Yes, I'm with all of you, and I'm happy to be with all of you, but you know, I'm technically kind of sort of alone right now. And it's good, you know, you just kind of clear your thoughts. Even if you just take a drive alone. Sometimes, no matter how much we love the people in our lives, I think all of us need alone time. And peaceful alone time. I was talking about driving, not just the time you're like driving to work in your car. I mean, just go somewhere, take a little walk, go to a library, just kind of chill out, relax a little bit. We all need that. I know you do. I do too. So, I thank you for tuning in. I encourage everybody to check out my website at but I had too many W's there for a second. That's not part of the title, by the way. It's www.buddygot.com, not www. I thought I had too many W's there for a second.com. www.buddygot.com. Monday, I'll have something for Music Monday. Also, I'm going to be doing a new Buddies writing show very soon, where I'll be interviewing a writer, so look for that. It's on the same channel as this. And also Sunday Night Fiction Club. Be sure to look for that. We had a fun show the other night. I had special guest host Lisa Stahl, Xavier Granville, who's a writer up in Canada, and my friend Rob, The Walking Rob, who is a writer. He was just on Buddy's writing show not too long ago. He was just on there last week, so check that out. It's on this channel. He talked about his new book. But he was on Sunday Night Fiction Club, and we talked about, what did we talk about? Buddy's having a blonde moment. Was a little embarrassing. We talked about something fun, I can tell you that much. Oh, we talked about great morbid music. We talked about morbid and depressing songs, and we laughed our asses off. So if you want to see three kind of unstable people, but who are nice, friendly people, you know, laughing their asses off talking about morbid and depressing songs, check that out, all right? I'll put a link right down there, all right? Down there, under my name and stuff. So check that out, great morbid music on Sunday Night Fiction Club. I'll be doing a writing show sometime this week. And I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're having a great June so far. You know, be good to yourself, treat yourself right, and you know, take some rest and take some breaks when you need to, okay? Life's too short. We got to enjoy ourselves as much as we can, and it's not always easy. But do what you can, okay? All right, thank you so much for watching, my friends. Talk to you soon. And this is where I turn off the camera.